principle that you can use to improve the SAT and ACT prep at your school is the Pareto's principle. Let's get into it. Pareto's principle is the 80-20 rule. Have you heard of it? The 80-20 rule says that for almost anything, and this is just a law that applies across nature, almost anything, 20% of your effort is going to create 80% of your output. And then the last 20% is created by 80% of your output. So let's say you have a 5-day work week. One of those days, mathematically, is creating 80% of your output. That's why really looking at what you do and analyzing how much it's moving the needle is so effective. And the same principle applies to, like I said, almost anything. 20% of the roads carry 80% of the traffic. And yeah, just start thinking about all the different ways that this is affecting your life, right? This has been a mind-blowing concept for me to learn and apply to my life. I've become a lot more efficient and effective at doing things just by applying this 80-20 principle, taking the time to look at what 20% of what I'm doing is creating 80% of the change that I want to see. The reason that I bring this up is because if you apply the 80-20 principle, Pareto's principle, to how your school does SAT or ACT prep, you can make huge strides in your students' confidence and their score performance and reduce how much time and effort it actually takes to get there. So taking a look at what you are already doing for SAT and ACT prep, think of the scope of it. How many hours are going into it? How much staff effort is going into it? What are the students doing for it? What prep materials are they using? 80% of what they're doing is only creating 20% of their increase in confidence and their increase in their scores. Reversedly, is that a word? On the flip side, 20% of what they're doing is creating 80% of their output. So if you want to maximize the impact that SAT prep has at your school and make it more efficient, time is a valuable resource. Your staff's energy is a valuable resource. Your students' focus is a valuable resource. If you want to make that SAT or ACT prep even more impactful, easeful, and joyful, it is worth your time and effort to sit down and do an 80-20 analysis. But I'll give you some clues for what to look for what makes a prep particularly effective. Where might your 20% be that's creating 80% of your outcomes? And it is really essential for you to do your own analysis because every school's prep is a little bit different. But these ideas are going to help you find some things that might be particular gems or might be not so helpful. Okay? So, is your school familiarizing students with the testing platforms? Exposure creates familiarity, and then familiarity creates confidence. Exposure, familiarity, confidence. So students need some time to familiarize themselves with these platforms, just like the first time you drive to a new job or you take a new path to work, you don't know where you're going. You need to spend a lot of time looking at your Maps app. You might get lost, and all your energy is going into just orienting, right? You don't want your students' energy on test day going to, okay, wait, how do I highlight again? I want to make an annotation. How do I do that? Oh, I don't feel comfortable using this calculator because I've never seen it before. Oh, I don't know. We want them going in there and the tools helping them instead of being something that's sucking up their energy. So that's a huge high leverage opportunity for you. Familiarizing your students with their testing platforms. And then the next level underneath that is familiarizing your students with how the tests think and work, how they present questions. The ACT and SAT are kind of their own thing. They are unlike math class or English class or reading class. They draw on those concepts, but they present questions in a way that is unique to them. And students who are familiar with how the questions are presented and learn how to translate their skills into that context are the ones who do really, really well. So this is where practice tests do come in handy, and exposure to SAT type questions. Even better is if you have an SAT or ACT expert who can introduce them, kind of familiarize them. This is how to approach this type of word problem. This is how to approach this type of grammar question. Having a really good strategy in place is worth gold on these tests. I'm going to pause a little bit so I don't go too fast. I get excited about this. So, next high leverage idea. So we've got getting familiarized with the platforms, or if they're doing it on a paper test, getting familiarized with that ACT paper test format so they can get used to how to write their notes, how to do process of elimination, all that good stuff. Then exposure and familiarity with how the test presents topics, so the actual questions on the test. All of those are going to build confidence and accuracy. Those are actually kind of, they are my top two, I guess that's why I'm saying it. So think about your program. Are you spending time familiarizing students with the platforms themselves? And I'm going to put a little asterisk here, especially the Desmos calculator. That one's key, super key for the SAT. Or whatever calculator they're using, for example, for the ACT, they need to be rock solid in it. And not just know how to use a calculator, like they've used a calculator before, they need to know how to use those calculators for the test. Because there's a lot of questions that become unlocked for students who would not have gotten them correct before if they understand how to use the calculator. And great news for you and for your students, there's plenty of resources online. There are phenomenal Desmos videos available and plenty of good coaches out there, including myself. So knowing how to use the Desmos calculator will save them time and give them access to points that they didn't have access to before. So that's a really, really important one. Yeah, so those are two of the things. Look at your program, consider where you're spending your time on, and if those are really high ROI ways to be spending your prep. Is it resulting in students who are really confident? Is it creating the score gains that you want to? Because really focusing on an 80-20 analysis is going to help you dial in where your energy and your students' energy is better spent.